has invented this together with Punchline Africa, Radio Punchline Africa, to bring this. I cut all other presentations to come up with our Africa. Our Africa. He said the trouble of Nigeria is that you get beavers, transmit access. You do an access. You are doing an access server nearby instead of transmitting the results to the collation center. Hala! And the chairperson, the chairman of Independent Nigeria Election in your collation center. What does it do? If there was anybody who thought that Matanga was wrong, I told you. And there's someone on this platform today who betted $1,000. And I told you that you'll give me that money. I said, if the voter registration crosses more than 40%, you give me that $1,000. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we are going to reach there. Looking at the numbers themselves, 3 million people in Katsina State, only 1.7 million, 1.3 something registered voters. Only 700,000 something. There are some states that worry me, 3 million, 5 million. Even Lagos itself, not half of the voters stand up to vote. Do you call this an election? Why have we lost our direction as Africans? What has killed us? Ladies and gentlemen, to kick us off on this discussion, I know we might take hours here and many people are waking up, but we have to hammer points home. Electronic voting elections in Africa is stupid, and I will call it that. Don't use it. Why do you, an African, use electronic voting when Britain that told you who taught you what elections are using manual? Are you normal? Thank you very much. Surely, look, tell me, Britain is 1,961 years old, but it never touches that machine you call beaver. Nigerians, you are calling it what? Beavers. Everybody is called beavers. Beavers. We in East Africa, we call them BVR. BVRs. Data collecting, transmission, identification machines that now eat your vote while you are transmitting. In the question of transmitting, the vote disappears. And the owner of the machine says he will not open it because opening it will destroy other clients. Oh, Allah, Nigeria. My people, General Obasanjo has come out. It's not only Matanga. Obasanjo is out on the street. He's saying we are heading to dangerous waters. Observers, international observers, are saying, some things were not very good, including displaying the ballot paper as if you have won already. A president of a country displays a ballot paper. Allah. By saying you can do what? you can do. Is it there's something in Kenya? Miriam will say. She said the slang in Kenya can do something. They say something like that. You do something. Can you do? What will you do? Buhari was telling us, what can you do? This is my country. I rule and I kill at the will. Therefore, I can display even in the paper, which is supposed to be private voting, when observers are watching internationally. What type of election is that? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And thank you for watching us. This is Dr. David Matanga's Twitter space, the struggle for a better Africa, plus in conjunction with Punchline Africa. You are live. As you speak, you are also alive. You are speaking live on my television in Nairobi, Kenya, which transmitted sub-Saharan Africa across Africa. And many parts of Europe and America, people are listening. Let's have house cleaning, house warming by none other than Miriam Ogutu, our senior anchor, senior presenter, senior editor of Punchline Africa Television. Miriam in Nairobi, good morning. I am told the weather has become chilly. You are almost rivaling us where we are here. God bless you. Take it away.
All right. Thank you so much. And also, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the Africans who have joined us in the panel today. So here are the latest headlines from across the continent of Africa. The Star newspaper from Kenya, Uhuru Raila men hatched a plot to rig poll tribunal. The Daily Nation, payback, Ruto takes on Uhuru. And then Kenya Power takes heat utility farm to incur further 6.5 billion loss on extension of tariff cuts. The Standard newspaper, why last of Cherera 4 had to fall. That is what we have in all the leading newspapers in Kenya and some from across the continent. This day from Nigeria, the world moves against Nigerian stated polls. The Punch, INEC continues results coalition despite protest. Vanguard, Atiku, Tinubu, Obi in tight race, INEC adjourns coalition. Daily Trust, Commonwealth, ECOWAS upload poll as Tinubu leads with 6.3 million votes. The Nation also from Nigeria. Observers, Peace Panel, APC don't abort election process. The Guardian, drama as observers, Obasanjo, Abdul Salami query elections. The Daily News from Zimbabwe, 3K TV celebrates its first birthday. A Newsday, government workers head for coalition. The Daily Monitor from Uganda, officials shared iron sheets on WhatsApp. And the Citizen, why juggling of investment docket has been necessary. The News Times from Rwanda, census, what do numbers show? So that are just some of the headlines we have from across the continent of Africa. A very good morning to you. Back to you, Doc.
Very much, Miriam. I don't have British news here because I am using the same equipment. They are in here, but you can, if you have time, you can look for them and bring them back, headlines in the United Kingdom.
I do have them. Let me just go through them very quickly. Daily Express.
Thank you.
Prime Minister, my Brexit deal now takes back control. The Guardian, Prime Minister hails new chapter in relations with EU after Northern Ireland deal. The Independent, look who finally got Brexit done. The Daily Telegraph, Sunak, my deal is a new way forward. And iNews, Sunak secures breakthrough on Brexit as tensions loom. And that is what we have in some of the British newspapers.
Thank you very much, Miriam. The trouble with those newspapers is also in Britain, especially the ones in Britain. They bring a gloomy situation that worries every African, every British, national will be very worried about the British newspapers, what they are talking about Brexit. Why did we first of all leave the Union anyway? Why is it that Britain wants other people to be united, but for it wants not to be united with Europe? The Nigerians have been looking for this unity, and they have been demanding for a referendum to make their way out of this space called Nigeria. Biafrans want to live. Nobody has given them a chance to live. Today, I won't speak much, but I want to ask you one question. Does Africa need elections? Given the mess in Nigeria's electronic saga, do we need elections, electronic elections on the continent? Really? Do we really need electronic? Are we mature enough to have electronic elections on the continent? Let's have our serious interrogation of this subject today here, and let's speak frankly, without emotions. Given the voter apathy, that almost 3/4 of people did not turn up. I estimated the figure to be those who did not vote will be about 60 million. And it is going to be true. And by the end of the 36 states, there will be about 60-something million people who did not turn up to vote. The figures that you see right now, some of so far about 10 states have been declared. And you can see that out of the 10 states, and there are 26 left, they don't even add it to 6 million at all, not yet. So we might be staggering around 35 million people who will turn up to vote, minus 93.6 million. You will get the answer yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also a pleasure for any African to come and speak. That is, for me, what I've been looking for. I want to listen to the views, the voter apathy. Nigeria spend 225 billion. You have seen the figure, Miriam, 225 billion naira. I don't know how much is equivalent to dollars. If you do the mathematics, Nobo, when you come to speak, tell me what is equivalent to those dollars. How much have we lost that could have built us a good power station so that you don't buy generators? Nobo, open up. We could have bought a hydroelectric station instead of conducting these bad elections.
Good morning, my doctor. And good morning, all the listeners, our sister Miriam. It's a pleasure to be in this platform at this very critical time of Nigerian fraudulent and irregularities, manipulation of 2023 presidential and National Assembly election. Doctor, you could remember what we discussed last time on this platform about Nigerian election. And I want to tell you that Nigerian has never had a free and fair election since I come to know Nigerian election around 1979 as a young and teenager. But that is by the way. The money they have spent on this election is equivalent to if you check it, it's close to $500 million. So, and it is a fruitless election that has no result. Last week, we are discussing about this issue, and I told us that Nigeria never had election, but they have what they continue to use what they call selection. So Nigerian election is never free and fair. It's only selection. They sit at Aso Rock, call the chief and NEC officer to write result of the election. If you look at what is trending on the social media, which I believe it is true, the chief and NEC officer, the professor you did call on to prove his integrity, he was in Lagos on the 25th night after the election, or while the election was still going on, having a dinner party with Tinubu, one of the presidential candidates of APC. So what is a whole INEC boss doing with a particular candidate at such a very point in time? He fly through a private jet to be in that party. That is to tell you that there's an exchange of money. And that is why the election immediately started having all kind of problems, from fraudulent taking out of the BVA internet connections and BVA reading. So I want to tell us that if by any means we look at the loss which Nigeria have gotten financially, I think it is enough to give an African country a whole budget for the year, and actually it's going to cushion them for the whole year. But Nigeria lost it, and it's nothing to them because they are living by corruption.
Mr. Ezero.
So, hello.
Mr. Ezero, yeah.
It's like your mic is not responding in April.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, coming to the topic, South Africa need elections, given the mess in Nigeria's electronic saga. Doc and all the listeners, my opinion is that we need elections. Africa need elections. But there's something we need to do. We must join hands as Africans to educate the general public, the populace, the masses, on the need to safeguard the election. Though I'm not in support of the election in Biafra land because I'm a pro-Biafran, but I am happy to an extent that the citizens were able to force some of their INEC officials to pronounce the election immediately they finish voting. And some of them have a photograph of the results in each polling unit, and they upload it on social media, different social media platforms. That is a good advancement. That is a good an eye-opener. So on that note, I would acknowledge the good things the youth did in Nigeria, though we told them that this election we failed because they never planned to conduct a free and fair election. What Nigeria normally do is they will show you the open this thing that they are going to do it, but inside they go and hide and do their thing. You can imagine a nation that has no steady power using BVA to monitor election. How do you think this is going to work? Because Nigeria has never had a steady power for the past 3, 4, 5 decades. They are using generators everywhere here, which you know that it doesn't have the capacity to help the internet to be steady, so that the BVA can read. So that is one thing. So Africa need elections, but we need to, using an electronic platform to conduct our election in Africa, we need to allow our people to understand the need to make sure that the elections results were safeguarded from the units or from the polling stations, so that everybody in that place will have a copy of that very result. Maybe the political party agents in that place must have a copy of the results duly signed by the polling officer in that very unit. That is
Let
one thing.
let me ask you.
Yes.
Just pause there.
Okay.
An echo is coming, but
Can some of the people who are speakers off their mics? Yes, David.
on a
Can some
serious note,
yes.
I would like to understand how on earth, even if you take a photograph, you remember the other time we discovered that there is an access computer,
Yes.
an access server, where the returning officers were saying the information had been stored in an access computer nearby. What was the use of the access server when we have a backroom server in the collation station where the chairman Yakubu was?
Okay, doctor. Now,
have you seen where the theft has begun from?
Now, doctor,
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, you see, that is one of the malpractices which they have formulated. If you go through that is why I say that it is good that the people will take a photograph, a snapshot of the result immediately and upload on different social media platforms, because some of the agents have been paid by INEC officials, or they have been instructed, and some political actors have given them a lot of money, so that when you are in your own police station, this is what you are going to act. I will send you some photographs or some videos of even military officers helping to collect the ballots that people casted, tearing them. But the thing is that the social media have helped. So Nigeria government, they know how to manipulate things. You know, when the European Union and the United States of America and the United Kingdom were saying that the election was peaceful, I was laughing, because that is their normal language. It was never peaceful. It was never fair. So they will always have a way of manufacturing some lies that when you look at it, it looks like it is true, but it was never true. That was Nigeria for you. And that is how they play their game. So the Professor Yakubu, who is in charge of INEC, I remember in 2022, there was the guy that came up with the idea of BVA. The National Assembly rejected the idea of BVA, and some other northern groups, they say they don't want it, they want it the normal way. Until the pressure becomes so high, they allowed the BVA. But this guy, immediately he came up with BVA, he was removed from INEC office, demoted and sent to another state as a INEC secretary. They carried it on the news because they don't want anything that will implicate their fraudulent acts. That is why I'm in support of the immediate uploading using social media by the polling agents, by the polling officers to upload, so that we know the person who was at that very particular polling unit and what transpired with the result he showed to the people. So any backup thing they are telling you, they are lying. They are lying. You will see more of these things I'm talking about in due time. But the unfortunate thing is that they will go to court, but the court will never rule anything, because the people they put in the echelon of the judiciary who are sectional, they are biased. They know what they are doing. And I'm sorry if I may be a little bit tribalistic. They are all Fulanis who have a common agenda. They have a common agenda. So nobody will go into that power. Remember, Doc, and all the listeners that the 2019 presidential election is still in court up to date, which Abubakar Atiku supposed to be the winner of that 2019 election. And I'm seeing a condition where they will see that if Peter Obi is winning the election, they will go back and pronounce Atiku the winner of 2019 election, and eventually it will bring more problem in Nigeria, which will lead to the ANEC to say, tell you, okay, the Supreme Court have reversed the election of 2019. Atiku is going to lead us for the next 4 years, which happened in Anambra, which happened in Ekiti State and some other states in Nigeria. That's a loser. We rule the country, the states. After some time, the court will overturn his election, and the one they proclaim is the real winner. We continue this thing and stay for 4 years. I'm seeing those scenarios coming to play. So it is not a new thing.
You, before I bring in Mr. Ezelo.
Yes.
Ezelo King Boys. Before I bring him in, you see,
yes, brother.
With all these problems that you are talking about, you still want an election in Africa for what? Why don't we sit down like a Chinese and find out? Chinese went back home 40 years ago. They saw they were doing nothing. They tried to plant rice in Uganda. The rice could not feed all of them. They put a railway from Dar es Salaam to Zambia. The railway could not pay them back. They went back and said, hello, we are fed up. Let's go and look for alternatives. Now, you are telling me that even the petition of Mr. Atiku is still in court. Now, have you seen why I am really very against any African country sinking 500 billion or $500 billion. No, $500 billion. No, $5 billion worth of 250 naira, which would have actually given you a new dam, hydroelectric dam, out of your 241 waterfalls. You can produce enough power for the entire Nigeria to have light. And you go and throw in an election where even the previous case is still in court. And then you are telling me that even if you take a picture, but there is a server there waiting next to the beavers. As soon as you press your finger in the beavers, they give you the ballot to go and put in. The server waiting there takes your vote. But the vote does not go to the main portal. I waited for the Nigerian portal up to now. It only came after 72 hours. So the votes first went to Tripoli, then went to Cairo, then went to Paris, then came to London, then went to Washington, then came to South Africa, then they arrived. Now, you tell me, I am not the only one complaining. Obasanjo, a former head of state, has come out openly saying this thing is not very, very good. Yesterday, Atiku and the Labour Party and other parties walked out. I was watching live. I created a very big screen in my bedroom, one of the rooms, to watch every corner. I am telling you, I'm embarrassed. Does Africa need elections? Given the mess in Nigeria's electronic election saga, the voter apathy. No, I think it was you whom I wanted my 1,000 shillings. Is it you? $1,000?
No, it's not me. No, it's not me because I'm a pro-Biafra and I know the election will never.
You better prepare. You better get me that guy to give me my $1,000 because
I will try.
I will
try to get hold of
and
you.
I said, if the percentage comes below the percentage, I will tear one of my degrees and throw it in Thames River, because
Yes.
I would not have gone to school. My professor would be very annoyed with me.
Yes.
Now, have you seen the results as they come? Only
Yes. Yes.
a quarter of the population were budgeted to register. And out of 93 million,
can I come in back on that area?
believe me or not, 93.6 million. I am telling you today here, we are going to have, do you know what? We are going to have only about 35 million, because so far about 11 states have been counted. And if you look at the number of 11 states, give it another number of 10 states, will give you to about 19 million to 20. Then the balance of 16 states will bring you another 9 million. We are around 35 million voters. Where have the 63 million people gone? That's the question of Mathanga. Don't blame me. Don't call me an ugly man, ugly face. It's up to you. I want you to answer me. Do you need the election in Africa? Nobo, hold the line.
Yes.
And let me bring another person to talk. Today is your day, Nigerians. For me, Mathanga, I wrote my paper. It's very clear, very good English of Shakespeare. I told you, the machines were designed for we black people to continue fighting. That's it. Have you seen? The machines were designed for black people to continue fighting. This machine called Beavers, it is called Bimodal Voter Accreditation System. And the election result viewing portal is called RIREV. Two technological innovations that were thought to enhance transparency of elections. Have they enhanced transparency of elections in Nigeria? The answer is no. All observers, of course, ECOWAS observer, Commonwealth, they want to preserve Mbeki. I've already called Mbeki. I called him this morning. I said, no. We have never disagreed on anything, but on this one we have disagreed. Mr. President, you can't call this a free, transparent election. You know, Commonwealth has got a language, they prepare it in Commonwealth and then come to read. Like a General Abubakar read the Zimbabwe one in 2002, brought chaos in Zimbabwe. You see, you can't call this an election. It's not an election. How do you get access server nearby waiting, and then that access server takes over 72 hours to signal to the collation center that have been waiting with these good results? What are you doing with them? Hala. No, Boland, your mic. Let's bring a zero.
Okay.
A zero.
Can I just
a zero. Land your mic. I'll give you time to speak again.
Can I say this, Doc, before I off my mic?
Okay, say it quickly. We have little time. Yes.
What I want to say is this: the 63 million you are talking about. Remember, you are following Biafra agitation issue, and in Imo State, a lot of the communities has been ransacked and removed by the military, who were bombing and killing people in Imo State, which the governor of Imo State was the fourth in the 2019 election, but he was declared winner by Supreme Court. That is an irony of Nigerian electoral system. So if you remove the the BVA, it will become worse, as far as I know, Nigeria and some African countries. So the BVS helps to minimize the much anticipated criminality and fraudulent ways the leaders used to declare the loser to be a winner. So I still prefer that if we are properly educated and enlightened in our communities, and if we have a stable light, just like you were evaluating the whole lot of money they wasted on this election, which is enough to stabilize Nigeria power-wise. But the power there was sabotaged by the same political elites who use it to make their own money. It's not that they cannot stabilize the electricity. So if I will use South Africa as an example, South Africa have used different electronic methods to conduct the election, which was very successful, and they are still doing it. They are still doing it, and they have been successful each time they did the election electronically, more than what Nigeria is doing. Remember that we said no election in Biafra land, because we know that this will happen. So they know how to put fictitious names that does not exist. Recently, they went to Niger, to Chad, and to nearby countries, Cameroon and Mali, to bring people to come and vote.
Okay, okay. No, just keep that for your next intervention.
Thank you.
You have raised quite a number of. Welcome to the platform, Kennedy Wandera, comrade Kennedy Wandera of Voice of America, our senior man on the continent of Africa. Welcome this platform. I thank you very much for always being there, and we support each other as I support yours on Friday, the biggest one for Africa. I warned you and I told you, I hope you are listening to the truth. I have become a prophet, a brother of Elisha and Elijah. I told you that this is going to be messy. It will end up, the Kenyan, you said, there's a politician in Kenya who said it will end up noisy and messy. It is now beginning to end up noisy and messy. Obasanjo, Abubakar Dar es Salaam, that guy, the general who ruled for just 6 months, they have come up to say, no, this thing is not very good. It smells. But nobody has raised 1 point of education. Does Africa have enough education to be able to vote? Think about that. And are we educated enough to know the problems even of these beavers? Even to know, you go there and they take your picture, you don't know where the picture is going. Did the Nigerian Independent Electoral Nigerian Commission or Independent Nigerian Electoral Commission, did it do enough voter education? With the apathy is going to be over 60 million people. If they are lucky, they will be available. Look at the state of Katsina, Anambra, Lagos. Look at the number of registered voters and how many came to vote. Just take a sample of these 11 states. Even if you have not gone to school, and you stopped outside the school and looked at the school and said, Daddy, I've come from school. You can calculate that this thing will not even come to 40 million voters. I mean, voters. As a Lendo, my brother from, I don't know where you are from, where, but now it looks, the name talks by itself. My Biafran brother, take the microphone and roar from Enugu, Onitsha, Emo. Come, there you are. It is yours, the microphone.
Good afternoon, everyone. thank you, Doctor, for bringing me in. And I am so grateful to having this opportunity. I think my voice is coming out, please. Can someone confirm me?
Very clear. Very clear.
Okay.
You are very clear.
Okay, thank you. So, what is happening for Nigeria is not today. It has been a very long time. And we Biafran, because I am never a Nigerian, we know that this is what is going to happen. That is why we say that there is no election in Biafra land. And some people who don't listen, they kill a lot of people. They are not talking about the people they kill in different polling units. They're only talking about the game they are playing in the election, which them, the youths and the elders, everyone know that this is what is going to happen, but they still want to try. I'm very sorry for those that died. And I think they have to contribute on their own death because they don't listen. You can see, Doctor, in Biafra land, there's nothing like vote. It's those who are already lost by the brain are those who come out trying that they want to vote. But that is not election. We know how the area is and we know how many people is there. That is our place. Nigeria pick people. They can pick Atiku, they can pick Kwankwaso, they can pick Tinubu, depend on their own agreement and how much the person can be able to pay them. And nobody can do anything about that. This is what they bring Buhari into. For a very long time, I have stopped voting because I have voted for a very long time. I am almost 40 years. I have participated in different elections, and this is what is going on. There is no fair, nothing like fair and credible election in Nigeria since Nigeria continue. And the world also, the observers, they are there. In their presence, they are killing people. They are ringing the election, they are not saying anything. Because that is, I call it company. Because I don't know somebody who can be able to come to tell us the history of their for their grandfather, that he's from Nigeria and how. I don't know the village called Nigeria. I don't know why people have lost their brain. They don't think, they don't reason. They oppress people in Nigeria. Then choose people, depend on what you have. And I also want to use this opportunity to ask all different polling units they have created. They know the agents they send in different polling units. As they count their votes, waiting for whoever they want to put in the Asoro. Let them count how many people they have killed, so that whoever they are putting in Nigeria, not in Biafra, it is in Nigeria, whoever they are putting as president, so that he can be able to know how many people they have killed to bring him there. Because there's talks, there's people faces, there's videos, there's evidence, there's people present, they are killing people, and nobody have be able to say that they have arrested these people. They call them talks. What is talks? Who bring talks? Police is there, army is there, civil defense is there, different people is there. They are special forces. They are killing people. I don't know why people don't want to listen. We don't need to even vote in Nigeria. They need to pick up somebody. And Nigeria have collapsed. Doctor, you know that. You always say that. Nigeria have collapsed and Nigeria will never, ever. The company have collapsed because the fraudulent people they are bringing there to loot money, they are not maintaining the company. So the company have collapsed. The company have collapsed. Everyone know that.
Okay. Okay. Hold the fire and stay there. Don't switch off your mic, or you can switch off a bit. I bring in something and then call you back now shortly. Look here, Ezero. In African culture, if rats come and eat your bed, and the rats eat your bed, usually when rats come, all of you grew up in African villages. When a rat is eating your bed, your leg, you don't feel the pain until very early morning. In the morning dew, when you are going to dig in the garden with your mom or father, then your mom will ask you, why are you walking badly? Then you can look at your feet and find the rat had eaten the whole of it. But when the rat is eating your foot at night, it has a method of making sure that you don't feel the pain because it doesn't want you to disturb it. From the moment rats ate Mr. Muhammad Buhari's, General Buhari's office, it ate. How can a rat eat a president's office? Cares. You remember the story? All of you here, Nigerians, are you here today or Biafrans?
Yes.
You remember that story?
Yes. Even the snake also eats a lot of money.
There was a sign that this was over. This man was not meant to clean this state called Nigeria. From that time when Buhari came back to Nigeria, he has never been the same Buhari. He doesn't talk. Boko Haram kills people. Our daughters are abducted. It will be a miracle to find the women in Nigeria, especially in the north. All the girls have gone to Boko Haram. It is going to be a very serious matter in the future when you want to marry a very tall lady from Katsina, Kanu, Madiguri. You will not find a woman. Is this a state? Is this a state, or this is a mafia state of somewhere in South America, Colombia? And you say you are holding an election. The question today, does Africa need elections? You pay $5 billion, actually 50 billion, not 5. I've calculated the naira to the dollar. Noble, it is $50 billion of taxpayers' money.
15
a sham. Yes.
Okay.
You calculate and tell me later. To hold 5 billion, 50 billion naira, to hold a sham election where transmission takes over 80 hours before you start transmitting the first election results. Tell me, in Africa, why have we gone wrong? The tragedy of Nigeria is corruption. We are now eating this election. We are destroying it. And Obasanjo is on TV here. He's even right now in front of me. He's saying we are heading in murky, noisy waters. Trouble is coming. He has not listened to Uhuru Kenyatta's submission. He has not listened to any head of state there. No, he has said it. So, do we need elections? Do you need electronic elections in Africa? Are we educated enough? Yesterday, I wrote a paper, which you can get on my powerful website that has got 11 million readers worldwide for the last 12 years. I thank all of you who have used it. I've written quite extensively on Africa. www.panafricanforumltd.com. The headquarters, Miriam, in Nairobi, put that on the chart. Please put it on the chart for people to pick up that letter. That article that I wrote about the beavers being a design to keep us fighting while the French reorganize themselves to come and control us. As we're on this platform, can I ask the next speaker who is coming after Izero has finished? There's one thing I want you to answer me. There are only 3 countries in the world that manufacture these beavers technology. Why? Why? 3 countries: France, Dutch, Netherlands, America. And to some extent, South Africa is beginning to manufacture under license. But these countries themselves don't use it. They don't use them. Most of you are in Britain. I've been voting here for 38 years, but I've never seen a machine near there. Our votes are counted and they tell you it is over. Labour got 200, Conservative got 2 million, Labour got 3 million. You'll go to the hall, you celebrate, or you go and cry and look for coffee, drink coffee. I've never seen a machine that we are using a machine. And Britain has everything to use a machine. Everywhere nowadays in the bank, you only get your credit card. You don't pin in the number. You just do, it does, the money comes out. But they don't use any voting, any equipment near their voting. Why did we Africans, the trouble of Africa, we are bewitched. All of us are running for these machines because, do you know one of the reasons? We eat money from the companies. I think that Yakubu now is very rich man. He has already called companies in to bring technology. And then I'll land your point, and then we have Chukwu, Emeka, Anyora. Then we have Ibo, IGBO, Ibo, my friend. Then we have the gentleman, Kamau. Then we have, where is this man from Mogadishu? Where has he gone? Okay, he's not on. He will come back. Then in that order, Chukwu, you come after Nzero, land your point, please. That is the information I wanted to give you.
Okay, Doctor, thank you for bringing me back. And I'm using this opportunity to request for international community and the Nigeria government to release Nnamdi Kanu. The court have said to free him. I'm using this opportunity to request for them to release him. They have done nothing. They kidnap him and bring him back to Nigeria because there is no law. And international community are still silent. Even those who request for him to be released have done nothing again since then. So thank you, Doctor, for bringing me in today and giving me this opportunity to send my message to the world. And I know that my voice have heard from the world. And again, as they are counting the vote, let them count how many people they have killed, so that whoever is going to be president in Nigeria will visit the family. Thank you, everyone. All hail Biafran.
Thank you very much. Let's pause it. Where is the music? Where is the African music to warm our hearts before we proceed? We don't want to pull ourselves too much with too much talking. Where is the African music? Where did this man disappear, Miriam? The guy in charge of music, Radio Punchline Africa. Prepare your music after Mr. Chukwu. I want you to play a good number from Tanzania, the home of Pan-Africanism, so that people can keep their... Don't forget, if you have a number that you want to request, a Nigerian number or a Biafran number that you miss so much, ask us. On this platform, we are being heard on 3 stations. My television station in Nairobi, my radio station in Nairobi, 24 hours, and on the platform Saga Twitter space. Here we are. We have music. Kuti from Nigeria. We have music. Somalia. We have plenty of good Somali music sung by good Somali ladies. We have it in the studio. We have music from Zimbabwe. We have music from South Africa. We have music from Kenya. And above all, we have music, home last. You don't say home first, home last. There's a saying in the Bible that you feed all and then you feed yourself last. As a father, you don't put chicken on the table and then hammer all the pieces. Then while your children are watching, you give them first. Then one who looks at you when you are missing. I'm also teaching African manners here. Then one says, Daddy, but you don't have any meat. She will give you. That's the one who loves you most. But some parents start eating this chicken alone. Thank you very much. That will be a topic of another day. Chuku, take it, the machine, please. The platform is yours now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Masinga. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night from wherever you're joining us at this particular moment. I say, may Chukwu Kabiama be your strength. I thank you, Dr. Masinga, and the co-host, Madam Ogutu, for providing the platform for we Africans to be able to share our view, strategize and look for a way forward for Africa and Africans. Before I continue, before I continue on today's topic, Doctor, if you permit me, I would like to put something straight in order not to confuse the listeners. I think my brother, the Ezelu, that spoke before, there is something he said that I would like to correct. The official stand of indigenous people of Biafra, led by Onyenduma Nnamdi Kanu, about the Nigerian election that have just passed, was that we IPOB, under his leadership, we don't have anything to do with the election. We don't want to have anything to do with it. But we are not going to disrupt the democratic process. So we didn't call for no election in Biafra land. We are democratic people, and we want our people to have the right to air their views, because when this referendum comes, it is through election that the referendum will go through. So we don't want to disrupt democratic process. That's why we said, the leadership of our struggle said to our people, go and cast your vote to whoever you want to. But we as IPOB, we don't want to be any part of that charade selection called election, because we know that this scenario that is happening now will come up later. Our leader, Onyenduma Nnamdi Kanu, a man that was brutally kidnapped in Kenya and rendition to Nigeria. The charade, okay, let me not use another word. The appeal court of that Nigeria set him free since 13th of October 2022. He is since 4 months now, or 5 months, in illegal detention in DSS dungeon in Abuja. I just want to make it straight for the world to know, for the listeners to know. So what has to do with today's topic, you see, here I live here in Germany, and Germany, they don't use beavers. You know, the biggest problem we have as Black people is that we've not really understood the meaning of sacrificing one for the better of others. If white people are 100 sitting in a plane and a terrorist come out, you will see one white person jump out immediately to catch that terrorist, even to grab him with the grenade is only so that the grenade will kill only him and the terrorist, but let the other people live. But if it's African sitting inside, all of them will be running, looking for a door to escape. Why? Because we always believe on the heaven. The same white people point to us that is up and say that is life. Life is all about reincarnation. Africans has to get it right. the election has to be, because there must be a way to determine who rules and who not rule. We don't have monarchy system in Africa, but the beavers is what I don't support, because this particular election, the 2023 election in Western world, should have not hold at all. Because before this election, you have a presidential candidate with his vice and with some top officials discussing already how to rig the election. You have a gubernatorial candidate in Delta State complaining about the vice presidential candidate of PDP, inviting some Jewish technology experts that will come and help him to rig, giving the presidential candidate a guarantee that he shouldn't worry that they will rig the election. You have many governors threatening people that are from other ethnicity in their states that if they dare vote the candidate that he's not supporting, that he's going to kill all of them. You have the presidential candidate of APC instructing his thugs to make sure that the vote, that they snatch the ballot boxes in Lagos and in most of the southwestern states where you have the Yoruba speaking Yoruba ethnic groups living. Even though we know in a clear destiny, cleher country where the democratic process works, everybody knows that. In a country where the
Yeah, when you come in here, please, can you mute your platform, please? When you come in, you mute. Sorry.
Thanks very much, Dr. Masinga. You see, we have a situation. Now I'm having a call on my mic. I don't know if I'm coming out loud.
Oh, we hear you.
Okay, thanks very much, Dr. Masinga.
Yeah, that's so ghetto.
I don't, Dr. Masinga, I think these people are disrupting the
Dr. David.
Can we put a Bell Army on the, can we mute his speaker? The speaker and the speaker of Uch. Dr. Masinga, these two people need to be removed as speaker because they are not disciplined. They are not respecting the rule and regulation of this platform. Thank you very much. Even the Bell Army should be removed also, Dr. Masinga. You see, this is a machine-generated account. Dr. Masinga, please, Bell Army should be removed. Thanks very much. We can't tolerate it when some animals are coming here on this platform to disturb our way of life. So, like as I was saying, we have indicia that shows already that this election charade called selection in that contraption called Nigeria, that is going to be rigged, that there will be violence. You have three major candidates from three major ethnic groups in that country, and nobody wants to lose. So, and if it's in a democratic country, everybody knows that the youth of Nigeria have only one candidate that every ethnicity supported. That is P2B. I'm an IPOB member. I have no interest on this. I pity the obedience. But one thing I want to make clear here to Nigerian youth and the obedient, because we were telling them when this obedience something started that it is a distraction from British people to make sure that the agitation that are going in their company, because Nigeria is a British company, Royal Niger Company, to cool down the agitation that was going, they brought P2B and it backfires on them. They were not expecting, they were just thinking if P2B came out as a presidential candidate, it's going to make the agitation in the eastern part of Nigeria, it will divide the easterners. So, but it backfires on them because at the end of the day, almost all the ethnic groups in Nigeria choose this guy to be their president. So, and in a democratic country, he won almost at least 75% of the casted vote on that day. I can tell you because we have people in the grassroots that are posting election results from different areas. In most polling units, all these APC and PDP, they didn't get more than 5 votes. That is the funniest thing. You have the governor of Rivers State, Nelson Wike, threatening INEC officials that if they dare call the election results to another party apart from APC, that the cannot leave the INEC official will not leave the state alive. We have it on record. His voice on record. We've been posting it. So, but where is the authorities in this game? They are anything. You hear some governors threatening INEC officials that we get the saying on the media, we gave you people money to deliver, and if you guys fail to deliver, we are going to kill you people. These are not common, but the funniest part of it and the irony.
Thank you very much. Thank Chuku, thank you very much. Wind up. We want to, you have made your point very clear, and thank you for doing so.
I will make it now, Dr. Masenga. What I'm trying to say is one thing. It is time for Africans, Nigerian youth, to rise up to claim their mandate. And we, as the IPOB and other groups that are agitated in that country, we give them the necessary support. They shouldn't be waiting for the Western country to, because you have seen now the Western people, countries and the EU, they've already started supporting the results, the fake results the INEC are calling, even though it's clear that the election is rigged. Because their interest is just as long as the show goes on, as long as these Africans are fighting themselves. They call us monkey, at least. If we keep killing ourselves, they can always come and take whatever they want. There will be no accountability or transparency. They can steal as they like. Russia have blocked them from getting oil from Russia. So their only hope is there where the oil is. And that is where Nigeria and Biafra. Thanks very much. I yield the mic. Hopefully, maybe some other person will find a point in what I'm saying. May Chukwu Kabiama bless you all. Thank you very much, Dr. Masenga.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Comrades, I want to request my headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya, Radio Punchline. Let's warm up the surface. And if you have just come in and you are putting up your hand, there are people who have been here longer than you. So what you want to speak, which they also have something to speak. Radio Punchline, give us a number in 1 minute or 2 minutes. Then we, as you arrange your ideas, I would like to see the following people prepare. Igbo, you have spoken. No, Igbo, you have spoken. Emma, you are going to speak. Abdi, you are going to speak. No, where's Kamau? Is that Kamau left? Okay. Then we have Miriam on the line to tell us the summary of all this. Thank you very much, Jabas, my comrade Jabas Bigambo. I have been very consistent on this, that electronic elections in Africa won't work. We have not reached the level of being honest. We are not honest. Is it the machines? Is it the people? Do we need elections in Africa of this nature that keep us headache? No. Okay. Let's play the number. Thank you. Now, we come to Igbo. But put your microphone first. Mr. Igbo goes, then you come next, then Abdi next. Then Abdi, I will promote you up to co-host because you know your fellow trollers are very dangerous here. So I want you to control them from Mogadishu because you are the tough guy from Mogadishu. So Annie, you will speak, but it's going to people here and requested he went, told me he was coming back. William will. Thank you very much. For Igbo elections, does Africa need elections? Any country, anywhere in each country in Africa, elections because they don't know what they will go through. This exercise, Africa. Don't electronically, if Britain is not, who are you with nothing, borrowing money from Britain that you are posing around that you are doing electronic elections? That will do it. Some servers in African countries, and I don't want to be involved in that country because I burnt my fingers. You know, anybody who is from there can speak, but not Dr. Matsanga. I've done my job, I did it very efficiently, and told people reconcile. Elections bring trigger conflict, trigger chaos. You fight every day. Look at Zimbabwe. The small man with a small voice called Chamisa is fighting before he even casts the vote. Hello, Gabon. Look at what is happening in Gabon. The president is almost falling because a disease you can't laugh about somebody being sick. But God, if God reaches that stage, you step aside. But the man is still on. And the other opponent, Jean Ping, the French puppet, is now coming up with strength, saying his supporters, this time it is going to be war. Do we need elections in Africa, surely? Igbo.
Hello. Good morning, Dr. David Masanga. Good morning, everyone.
You can speak up. Speak up.
Good morning, Dr. David Masanga. Good morning, everyone here. You know, I remember the interview you did with.
We can't hear you, sir.
Can you hear me now?
No, we can't. Can't hear you.
Okay, please go to the next speaker.
Hearing you on the platform.
Please go to the next speaker while I sort out my connection issue.
Yeah,
I think, Doctor, we hear him.
Okay.
You
can hear me, right?
Are you hearing him?
We can hear him.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can hear him.
All right, so thank you. I remember the interview you did with, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, shortly before he was, renditioned back to Nigeria. And I remember some of the things he said and some of the conversation you both had. And one of the, major crux of the conversation you guys had was bordering on the boundaries, the illegal boundaries of the Berlin Conference. And that's where I'm going to kick off my conversation, from. Now, the problem with Africa is actually not if we are mature for electronic conversation or electronic election or not. It's actually that we really need to renegotiate the boundaries in Africa. And I'll tell you why. You see, if you put a black ant and a red ant in a space, they are not going to fight. You know, they are not going to fight. The only thing that will make them fight is if there's little food for them to survive on, and then you see them start fighting for survival, or you shake the container you put both of them, then they will think that there's actually a need for them to actually fight their way out of it, then they start killing each other. That's the case with Africa. I remember having a conversation some few years ago with an Ewe guy. The guy is from Togo. So we're having a conversation, and he was telling me that the conversation was actually part of the wicked balkanization by the Europeans, against Africa or African countries. He was telling me that his tribe, Ewe, have some of their parts, in Ghana. And then the question is, an Ewe man from Ghana will now see an Ashanti man as his brother first before he sees his own kith and kin from Togo as his brother because of what the Europeans did. Now, if we look at the issue with Africa and election, you understand that it's based on survival. What caused the Hutu and the Tutsi conflict? It's survival. Most of the things we have in Africa is just all about survival. People want to survive. They want to be in charge. And you cannot blame any ethnic group who sees an opportunity to survive, even if it means taking out the other persons. You look at you look at Europe today and you see peace. The peace in Europe today is because of what happened, during the Second World War. They decided to create Europe across ethnic lines. Just imagine you putting Turkey, England, and say Germany in one country. They are civilized, but they'll fight for survival and they'll start taking themselves out. Bring America, China, Saudi Arabia in one country. They're all big nations. They'll start fighting for survival and they'll start taking themselves out. It is what the case is in Africa. I mean, what we had yesterday, rather on Saturday here, is just something that is natural for every Nigerian who has been following elections. Look at Uganda, when Bobby Wine led a revolution of hoping that they're going to change Rwanda, taking back their country the way the obedience are shouting today. What happened? We all saw what they did, how Museveni went after every single person that orchestrated that movement. It is not actually about the system of voting. Like Anastasio Somoza, who was once the dictator of Nicaragua in the 18th century.
Medium.
We're there.
Okay, so as Anastasia Somoza, who was once the dictator of Nicaragua in the 18th century, rightly posted, he said that, yes, you won the poll, but I won the count. That's exactly the case with African election. Whoever holds the power decides everything. So until Africa sit down and discuss or negotiate its boundary, original boundary by itself, trust me, either electronic or not, we are not going to have a sane election anywhere in Africa. The best we'll have is something that is a little better than what we're having in Nigeria. Of course, Nigeria is just everything a nation should not be. I mean, we can go on and on and on and on and on. If you've been following the news in Nigeria, you understand that over the years, we've been seeing how Boko Haram have been butchering people, kidnappers have been doing a lot of things. There are certain places in the country that you cannot even go to. But all of a sudden, the election draws near, and every of these kidnappers, killers, and everything just went on holidays. I mean, come on, is God not a wonderful God? But trust me, as soon as the next person is sworn in, they'll resume. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that it's a battle for survival. They want to continue to run the country.
All right. Thank you so much. You seem to have lost our the person who's speaking there. I don't know who was supposed to come next. Doc, if you can hear me, you could
It was
give us a
Abdi.
introduction there.
It is Abdi. I think it's me
Okay.
who's going to come next. Yeah. First,
Okay, go
I
ahead.
think, the host is having a problem with the internet, and I'm sure it's going to be back soon. So before that, I want to say hi.
Hey, wait, Abdi, you go ahead and speak. I'm not having any problem with internet.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, Abdi, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Masanga doctor.
You said
Salimia sana, but I think you have to close your mic. It's making a comeback like an echo. Your mic is causing an echo, but we hear you, and I'm sure you're going to fix that as well.
Mr. Abdi, it is not me. Mr. Ibo should drop fast because it is his internet which is talking when I'm not talking.
I think so also. So, Igbo, can you just please drop out?
You must respect the co-host. Abdi, you want to make your point as Igbo fixes his mic, please. I was looking for Kamau. Kamau is not here. Make your point.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you so much, Doctor. I think you're the best when it comes to the affairs of the African people. I've enjoyed your spaces so much. And I think this one is going to be one of the best because we're talking about the biggest country in Africa, Nigeria. I would also want you to know that I support a lot the people from Biafra. And as a journalist, I've done a research and I've come out to see that people are ignoring the atrocities that are going in Biafra. If you look at the history, almost 5 million people died. 5 million people died in Biafra. But the media is silent. People are silent. I mean, we have to talk about it. You cannot force anyone to be part of your country if they don't want. Dr. Masanga, you are in the UK now, and you know today the UK agreed to let Northern Ireland act as a country. They agreed to borders between England and them. Today, that is. Because they are looking at the reality. The reality is they cannot force the people from Northern Ireland to be part of the UK. Read the news. But when it comes to the Africans, they want to force us on each other. Why? To kill each other. So that they take advantage of it. They want to take the oil, the resources, while we are killing each other. In Nigeria, in Somalia, Uganda, Congo, wherever. Okay? So I think as African people, we have to support each other. We should never let South Africans kill black people in South Africans. We should never let Nigeria do whatever it wants to the Igbo people. I think we have to speak about it. We have to stand up. Doctor, you are one of the few people who can do something about this because you gave a voice to the voiceless. You gave a voice to the voiceless. The Nigerians used to control the media with their TVs, the radios, because they are state. But thank God, the world has changed. The world has changed. No country can control the narrative now. We have Twitter, Facebook, and people who are giving chance to the voiceless, like the doctor now, Dr. David. So I think people have to make a research here. Biafrans have been subjugated. From 1967, if you look at the history, and I'm sure many of you know about the history, 1967, 5 countries in Africa recognized Biafra. One of them is Tanzania, Zambia, and the US at that time, the president wanted to recognize them. If it was not for the Vietnam War, go and check it. But after that, the British people came in with the corporations. You know, they wanted the oil. That's why they made sure that Biafrans should remain silent. So they came, they invested a lot in the narrative that Biafra can never get independence. Because why? The biggest company in the UK, the BP, has invested in the oil. And that is the reason why the Biafrans are put into, what can I say, a prison, a camp. Whenever they try to speak up, they're being killed. Whoever tries to speak up is jailed. Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You are
I'll
making your
continue.
points very nicely, and you have forgotten that Uganda was one of the countries among the 5, and Uganda, my country, hosted the conference that recognized Biafra. Dr. Milton Obote, may your soul rest in peace. Nyerere, may your soul rest in peace. Kaunda, may your soul rest in peace. Emperor Haile Selassie, may your soul rest in peace. Those are the countries that came out forthright and recognized the Biafra. Proceed, Abidi.
I thank you so much. At least now, there are a few people who know about their history. Believe me when I say this, more people have been killed there than Ukraine and any country combined. There's never been a people so much killed in Biafra after the Second World War. Bloodbath, a massacre that continues to this day. People don't talk about it. Why? I'll tell you. Because large corporations like BP, they sit on the media, they sit on them. Every time they try to talk about it, they make sure they are silent. Now, for how long are we going to sit back and watch South Africans kill fellow black people, Nigerians killing people because they want to be a country? Biafrans want nothing more than what we have. They want to be left alone. They want to have their own country. Nigeria, doctor, as you said, elections can never go ahead with the equipment that they're buying from the West to rig the elections. As you know, they said those equipment are made to rig the elections. And the West is doing that because they don't want the Africans to be independent, democratic. No, they want the Africans always to beg the World Bank, the IMF, to be dependent on them. So unless we do something about it, we're gonna continue to be the continent that is left behind. So that's all I wanted to say, but I'll come back again.
Thank you very much. I don't know whether, thank you very much, Abidi. You, Hannah, you have come back. I had given you the slot. Hannah, you can pick up the slot of the host. I've just given it to you. Thank you very much. Before I allow you to speak, I have Anifa. And yes, Anifa. Anif. Thank you, Annie, for freedom. Take the
Thank you.
microphone, my sister or brother.
Thank you, Dr.
Because your picture shows something. Thank you.
Thank you.
At least
Dr.
I'm not like a Buhari.
Thank you, Dr. David.
The rats ate his office. If the rats eat your office, you resign.
Dr. David, I really thank you for what you have been doing for Africans and Biafra, especially. I have been your fans for many years, and your work is everywhere. We can see the evidence. I pray that the humanity will be, will be in good time with you. Because there is a date in our language that said that whatever you wish another man will be wished to you. I wish you good luck and your family also. Your generation will never see pain. I was sharing tears when Abid was making his submission, because sometimes we come across even those from far place that knows our story more than us. I really commend Abid. I never knew that there are people that have this. I knew that the idea, but just as he said, thank God for the internet today, because without the internet, I don't know if we have the possibility of hearing you guys.
What has happened, Anif?
Yeah, I'm talking. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Is he speaking, Miriam?
Yes.
Dr. Matanga, he is. And hello to everybody else.
Okay. Thank you. I will continue to speak. So we don't need election in Africa. We don't need election in Africa because election was our enemy's project in Africa. Is their projection. People that hate us so much, people that have converted to make sure that they suck us until even if he remains our bone, they have even decided to chew our bone. Anything that is instrument of the West is not needed in Africa. As far as we continue to anchor on it, we will never make progress. And Elia will understand this better for us. But if I may say,
Annie,
yeah.
Let me just ask you this. If you do not want elections, because I don't know, people have different opinions. Is it the election that is the problem? Is it the method that is and the system that is put in place for election that is the problem? Is it the electorate that are electing the wrong leaders that is the problem? Is it the leaders that are rigging the system that is the problem? Because when you say we do not need elections, do you mean you just want one person to sit on that chair for as long as they can?
No,
where are you exactly coming from?
No, that's not the area I'm going. I'm just trying to speak based on the topic. We need election that will be, organized, election that will be planned. Before the European came to Africa, we have a way of choosing a king, we have a way of choosing a ruler, we have our governance system, we have our political system. We need election in Africa, but not the election that will be projected by the European. Not the election that they will decide for us how to choose our ruler. Not the election that they will be the one that will produce the material, just as someone have said here, the material that we use to conduct the election. Not the election that they will come to monitor for us. Not even the election that they will be the one that we choose who we vote, because sometimes we keep on killing ourselves here without knowing that they have already choose who they want. As I'm talking to you now, the British, the American have chosen Tinubu because they know that he's dying. They know that they will be the one that if they want to sign anything they will be the one that will, hold his hand to sign those documents. Not that type of election that we want. Because we have been in electoral, we have been going through election before they came. So if I say that we don't need election, that does not mean that we don't have a way of choosing our ruler, or we throw it away, or one person will rule forever. Not exactly what I mean. What I mean is that for over 1 month now, if I'm not mistaken, you will see how the British ambassador in Nigeria have been advertising election. He has been advertising PVC. He has been telling
So
everybody.
maybe Anita, then the correct terminology would be selections is what is happening in Africa, not election, but
Yes,
selections.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we do not need selections in Africa, not
Thank you very
election,
much.
because it
Thank
is
you. You are getting
selection.
No.
Yes.
No. I think both of you, microphone first. Let me explain to you. The question I lecture, and I know how to set my questions. Does Africa need elections? Given the mess in Nigeria's electronic saga, I am not saying, if you are answering and you're a bright student, start answering this way. And I want you to run. You can say, yes, we need elections, but we need modified. We need elections without electronic. We can count it manually. We can go back to our roots on how we used to select our kings and the queens and the rulers and the chiefs, like China. Don't stand here like an American to tell me that China does not have elections. China has elections. They have the elections once in a year. They elect their leader. They choose good people who are not rapists, who are not thieves, who are not corrupt. They go to the Red Square and stand there and sit there for 1 week. And they say, we want the current president to continue. It depends on which type of election. And because if you are coming from Britain, like Anna, will say, we need to select. I have read the Plateau Republic. Show me in the Plateau Republic where it told you you should have elections every 5 years. Show me one paragraph. Where is it? Akuna? We have just come here.
Daktari.
No, wait first. We have come here, Hannah. I am explaining so that people understand what my question is. It cannot be distorted below that. We have come here in Africa, in Nigeria. We say every 4 years. We ourselves, the British came and told us, you must elect every 4 years. And my friend Annie is making a point. If you look at the number of how many the chairman of the Electoral Commission of Nigeria has been calling the British High Commissioner in Your Excellency, the British High Commissioner in Nigeria, Your Excellency, the American ambassador. Are there no Ugandan ambassadors in Abuja? They were seated there. Why were they not given respect? Hala? You Africans, now you are saying selection, you want to cover things up here. Selection, the whole thing of election was an external phenomenon. We don't know it. People don't know the difference between election and the democracy. In Uganda, 19 million people registered to vote. And I want to give you a shocker. Only 11 million came out to vote. 80 million disappeared. In Kenya, 21 million people registered to vote. 80 million disappeared in the clouds went to Angel Gabriel. And they are still eating your salary. They are going to hospital complaining faster. Hello? Where? They are complaining more than the people who voted. In Nigeria, these are hard facts. Wajaziingia ziume hana usikie. Nigeria in 2018, 86.3 million voters. 28 million only voted. 58 disappeared. They went to visit Angel Gabriel, then they came back. Let's go. Let's mention Zimbabwe. 10 million people registered to vote. In 2018, only 5.6 million voted. How much money did you waste in Kenya? $4.2 billion. You remember? You know it, Hannah. You are not in Kenya at the moment. $4.2 billion. Only to be told it is over. Nigeria has wasted $50 billion. $50 billion that can remove generators. Every Nigerian you find in a plane, he has carried 4 generators to go either to sell or to install in his house. Hello? What type of Africa is this? Yet this 50 billion could help Nigerians to build a hydroelectric power station with 241 waterfalls. If you fly over Nigeria, you might think it is in hell. Honestly, if you fly at night, it's like in hell. The whole territory of Nigeria, as you see it, it's dark. The only small towns. But if you fly in Uganda, go and fly in my country, Uganda or Kenya. Fly at night in Kenya. There is electricity everywhere. Almost everywhere. Am I wrong, Kenyans who are here? If I'm lying, hang me, take one hand off. Everybody is charging his power. His phone, which has no, it can't transmit. But they are charged in the rural areas in Masabit, in the rural areas in Garissa, in the rural areas in Uganda, in Karamoja. The cattle rustler who's stealing cows has a phone charged. There's power. Nigeria is zero. Yes, they pollute more with generators. Now they want to hold an election calling ourselves beavers, that the beaver machines. What the hell is beaver machine? Did you ever invent beaver machine? Stupid.
Daktari, thank you very much. The reason I interjected Annie, I told him which way is he talking about. First, I asked him, is it that you don't want election because of the method? Is it the method that is the problem? Is it the electorate that is the issue? Is it the people that we elect that is the issue? Or you don't want he went on and explaining that there is a foreign interference in elections in Africa. So I said that, and they put the leaders that they want. So I said then maybe then it's the selection that you're against. Now, if we come back to the Nigerian issue, I will give Annie the mic back, and we've got other speakers on.
Yes.
But if I come back, before I give it back to you, problem with Africa is we have brain drain, and that is a fact, okay? Nigerian is full of talent. The system that was created for the election, the Nigerians themselves could have done that work. That work could have been done by the Nigerians. Nigerians are full of people who are capable of doing this system, building it from the scratch. Where that system came from, I don't know. Which company built it, I don't know. And this is the problem with us in Africa, all of us. In Kenya, we've seen issues to do with the system. How much money was spent in the previous elections? This election, it was made a little bit, a notch better, but still. We had servers in other countries that that the data was going on to. So the issue is all around, and the problem is within us Africans. The brain drain to the West is the issue. We need to come back and own and say, no, this is how we're going to deal with things. This is how we want to do things. But as long as we let the West interfere, we cannot be sitting somewhere and complain and say, oh, it's the West, or it's this, it's that. No, we have to have ownership. So, Annie, I'll give it back to you, and then we can have the rest of the speakers who have their hands up. But believe you me, Nigerians were better off putting that system up. They are capable of putting that system up. There are people who do put systems up, and they can work on that. Annie, for Africa, go on.
Thank you very much. Hani Ali, I think Mr. Dr. David he have made, he have explained my view better than I do. Because when I start my submission, I spoke based on the topic, and I tried to go direct to the point, because there's no need of running around when we know our problem. Just as we are saying now that Nigeria have talent, that they has people that can build whatever system that we need to have a credible election. I'm not refusing that, but one thing is that the system already on ground will never allow any of all those talented ones to do or to excel. Just as you can see what is going on the election, the youth, the Nigerians have risen up this time to vote a candidate of their choice, but the system on the ground, not even the machines or the electrical material that they built to conduct the election, not even that, because as you can see, to transmit the election, to transmit the result was not that there is no system to do that, or there is no connection to do that, but it was programmed that they will not do it. And the reason why I was pointing at the Europeans trying to say that we have to go back to who we are, do things on our own, even if we are going to advance in anything that we are doing, let it be from us, is that look at for over a month now, the both America, both British ambassador in Nigeria, they were the one advertising this election, trying to encourage people to get their PVC, go for election, trying to undermine those that are saying this election is not going to bring any good, neither it will bring disaster. Let's first of all come back home and renegotiate things, try to put things in order before going into the election. Then we are undermining these people. And let me make it clear here. Do you know that for over 8 years of Buhari, people have been clamoring for different things in Nigeria? I saw people clamoring for restructuring. People were clamoring for constitution to be changed, to be amended. People are clamoring for division. People are clamoring for different things. And when you look at all these things that people are pointing at, it is the only thing that can bring us, that can bring a better life to this space, It's the only thing that can bring better life to everyone in Nigeria. If you restructure Nigeria, it will give all the same system of governance that they are running over there, even as we have accepted to embrace their system of governance. It will better Nigeria. If we look into the constitution and amend it, it will bring development to Nigeria. It will bring equity to Nigeria. Even if you divide Nigeria, we go back to who we are, and we have, we live, we coexist the way we are living before the European come. That will still bring prosperity to that very space. But these people have never come out one day to speak about all these things that people are clamoring. But immediately it is time for election, they came out and they start advertising the election, advertising PVC. And now that people have gone out to vote, since that day that they have gone out to vote, they have been receiving bullets, I saw many people with a pool of blood. As we all are seeing what is going on in Nigeria since on Saturday. You have never seen any of these people come out to make video the way they are making video all this while that we should go for PVC. That's the reason why I'm here to say that anything that is coming from these people can never take us anywhere, unless the one you pay with your money. Because sometimes when we say that we have to reject some certain things that these people are imposing on us, people will start saying, you are using phone, you are using this. But I bought my phone with money. But their religion, I didn't bought it with money. They gave it to me free. Their democracy was given to me free. The election is given to me free. Their system of governance is given to me free. Check anything that these people gave us free, can never take us anywhere. They have never benefit our life. That's why now that we have know the problem that we have in Africa, what we have to do is to go for that problem and solve it. Not talking and doing the same thing over and over again. If we continue to vote in this very system in Nigeria, believe you me, nothing will ever good come out of Nigeria. We voted in 2011, we voted in 2015, we voted in 2019, and the same thing that happened today happened in 2019. Who told you that in 2027 the same thing will not happen? So I rest my case there. I don't believe in any Africa. I don't believe in any election in Africa. Just as Dr. David have said, before the coming of the European, we have a system of governance. We know how to choose a king. We know how to choose a ruler. And as you can see today, look at those continents that
It's almost neck to neck. And the NNP has got 0. I think from yesterday, after the argument of yesterday, someone has told them to behave, and they are behaving now. Miriam, I've put you up there to co-host, and you come in immediately to make your contribution as a woman, from the woman perspective. Because I saw the Commonwealth saying women were given preference, disabled people were given preference, but I've only seen on the male men, only one soul talking there who said, I don't know what it is. Miriam, come in. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I have come from another network because of the interference, and as I wait for Miriam to come, we have APC has got 6 states so far. LP has got 4. PDP has got 5. NNP has got 0. So far we have 15 states that have been announced out of 36. Of course, plus I want anybody from this country, either you are from Biafra or from Nigeria. And to tell me what is the importance of this thing of Abuja. What does Abuja come out? Bring the Kenyan perspective, my dear brother. Why are you running away from us? Get the microphone and speak now, Kamau, before Miriam comes in. I want you to bring the Kenyan perspective or any African country Anybody who can explain to us Abuja? Why is Abuja very important? Why is Abuja very important? Nobo, do you hear me? Hello? Kamau, can you take the microphone, please?
Can you hear me? Hello?
We are hearing you loud and clear now.
Mr. Masanga?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We hear you, yes.
I think I have a problem with my mic. Hello?
Let me open for you. Do you hear me now, Kamau?
Hello?
Kamau, do you hear me? Okay, who is ready to speak now? I can Kaluchi. I can see your hand up.
I think the problem
we wind up.
I'm having here,
Kamau, check your...
I don't know what's happened.
No, we... Go ahead.
Dr. Matsanga, can you hear me? Hello?
100%.
Hello?
I hear you 100%. Proceed.
I think everybody is hearing me now. I think Africa need elections, because if you look at our elections, the past elections in Kenya, they were very credible, and I think the whole world witnessed Kenya's election as being the most peaceful in Africa and credible. I think the reason why this happened is due to democracy in Kenya. Kenya is having the best democracies in the world. I think in the world and in Africa. If you look at our IEBC chairman, he was the best person, for example, to be sent to Nigeria and observe the elections. But sending our former president, who was biased in the former election, I think that was a very, very bad move. Even you, Dr. Masanga, you are aware you are biased in the past elections of Kenya. You supported the team or the side that lost the election, and you are very, very much against the current president of Kenya. You are against him, and you talked very ill about him because you didn't like him. I think, in general, Africa needs elections. For example, in Kenya, we went to elections and removed the bad leadership that have been clinging into power since independence, that we call them the dynasties, the families that clinged into power since independence. They were removed in power. The three so-called families, they were removed in power by a mere Kenyan, a hustler, because of democracy. So in general, what is needed in Africa is democracy. We don't have democracy in Africa. And I thank the third president of Kenya, the late Moi Kibaki, for bringing us a constitution that has been guiding us and Kenya in general. The constitution of Kenya has guided us where we are today. Look at the past elections in Kenya, where there was no democracy. For 24 years, we were ruled by...
Mr. Kamau,
yes, sir.
Just hold on to thought. You have made very good points regarding Kenya. It is true Kenya is very democratic. It had space. It doesn't have any political prisoners in jail. You can't find any political prisoner, and I hope Kamau is listening. We don't have any political prisoner in jail in Kenya who is detained because of his political affiliation. That is very good. Kenya has a very vibrant democratic space. That is true. That's why people criticize each other.
I'm listening.
Not to fight. So you have to be, if you are talking about democracy, you must allow people to criticize you. You must also allow those who don't agree with you, Kamau. Unfortunately, you are gone again, but I will bring you back. You are making very good points there, but you need to have a good network. For former President Uhuru to move to do elections, he did not stick on power. He handed over power to somebody whom the court. And for me, as a person who has been internationally exposed, once the court makes a ruling about elections, I adhere to that ruling and I keep quiet. So, Kamau, you must know that. That's what most of us have done. That's why you come on a platform where I am, and you want to say, I oppose the president. The president, because God did not create everybody to say yes. But I didn't oppose him to fight, or to kill him, or to have any problem with him. No, he won an election. The courts have said he has won an election. We agree and move on and support him. That's what democracy is. But the question of Nigeria, why I'm asking these questions about Nigeria, is that there are people who are political prisoners in jail. They are in jail. Mr. Nnamdi Kanu is in jail. He's a prisoner of conscience. There are several other prisoners of conscience in jail in Nigeria. We waste $50 billion to organize an election where 3/4 of the people will not turn up. You are going to see it very clearly that by the end of 36 states, over 35 million people would have voted their vote. But over 8 million people would have sat home. So what is the use of that election? That's what I'm asking. Do you need an election of that nature in Africa that wastes money? Why don't we educate people? Like the government in Mali, ladies and gentlemen, the generals who took power in Mali said, we are taking 5 years educating people how to vote, then allow them to come. After that, we are not going to any election in Mali. That is the basis upon which we are asking questions. For example, Is Africa ready for? Is Africa really ready for electronic voting? Is Africa ready for electronic voting? You have seen for over 7-8 hours in Nigeria, Hannah and the rest of you people here, the results have just started coming, and yet we voted on Saturday. And someone was keeping the results in a computer nearby. And the chairman of the Electoral Commission of Nigeria has admitted and said we had kept this computer. The results are somewhere. The results are in a computer somewhere. Being, I think, being manufactured. Was it a manufacturing? So, the people who give us this, electronic devices, Vivas, in Nigeria they are calling it Vivas. Ladies and gentlemen, there is some noise.
Yeah, mute everybody, whoever has the co-host, and then unmute. I think there's some background noise. Somebody's mic is open, Dr. Mathanga.
Yeah, thank you very much. Why don't you come up here? Where I'm trying to bring you up here so that you can stabilize all this. But your phone, when it comes, it breaks us down.
Dr. David, do you want me to speak?
Yes, I want you to speak. You know, Buhari is a very technical man. He has got so many people. Oh, I can see where the mistake was.
Good morning, everybody. This is Alimatu from London.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Dr. David. Hannah is there, but this is Alimatu. See, I said I was from London when I live in Southampton. This is how excited I am to finally speak. I hope everybody's doing fine. And I just want us to just take a little bit of a breather. I'm going to go a little bit in terms of moving away from what we are currently discussing. I want elections to continue in Africa. It's incumbent on us as Africans to want to have elections in Africa. Now, yes, it's unfortunate what has happened in Nigeria, Africa's biggest democracy. I am from Sierra Leone, a very tiny country that look up to Nigeria. The leadership in Nigeria, many African countries are looking up to. And for me, I'm disappointed, but I wasn't surprised. And the reason why I'm not surprised, and as you know, Dr. David, I have spent my entire professional career talking on the rights of women and girls. This is when minds have been oppressed. And I just want to say this. We are all super education, academics, people who are learned. We know what is right for Africa. I don't want us to keep blaming the West, the West, the West. We are giving the West powers that they don't deserve. This is our responsibility. What is going on in Nigeria is Nigeria's responsibility. It's the rest of Africa. Why aren't the African Union? We were talking about the disappointment of African Union a few days ago, and I'm not surprised. You know, we should stop. And this is why men in power is good for Africa, but it has disappointed Africans. Why we need women leaders? Because again, I just think the mind of Africans now in terms of politics and election, it's so masculine, it's so depressive for the rest of Africa. Why we need to have this equal balance of power in our countries. You look at the dynamics of Nigeria, it has been male dominance for the time I know Nigeria to be. in Africa, we have given male, let me use the word male, not as in man, physical man, but the male power, this dominance that they have not offered us as Africans much. Honestly, we cannot be saying we want to go back to the ways of how the rulers were chosen in Africa. We've gone past that. Whenever Africa is in conflict or crisis, we want to go back to where we were. No, we cannot be going back. We want to move forward as the rest of the world is moving. Europe has moved forward. China has moved forward. Every continent is moving forward. We should move forward as well. And I think this is about time we now call on, do we really need the African Union? And what is the African Union? And what are they doing for Africans? These, again, are just men in suits, sitting in big offices, driving big cars, don't have no connection to the day-to-day lives of its own people. We want power, but we don't know what we are doing with power. We use power to oppress our people, subjugate them, create violence, do things that we do not need in Africa. And we're sick and tired. I mean, if Nigeria's election can be this appalling, I can only imagine when Sierra Leone goes in June, what it would be like. Men get into power, they don't want nothing, they just want to sit in big houses, have big profile, give themselves title, and they do nothing. We should be talking about what has Africa, in terms of Nigeria's growth in the world, what is Nigeria offering the world? There is no company in the world without Nigerians. We look at the entertainment industry and see what Nigerians have done. We look at academia, see what Nigerians have done. We look at science, see what Nigerians have done. This is the country that has given the world so much. And yet we can have an election just like this. If this is what Nigeria is offering Africa and the world, then I don't want to be part of the system anymore. We want better for Africans. We want the best that Africa deserves. We cannot be going back 40, 50. We've gone past that. As Africa, we should be embarrassed to say we want to go just as our great-grandfathers used to operate. Because again, it was that same mindset, if we're going back to say what the West did, it was that mindset that got us to where we are today. You understand what I mean? The West never says we want to go back just as how the Vikings used to live or the Romans used to live. They're moving forward. Why, as Africans, we want to always go back to how things were done 100 years ago? Going back does not make progress. We need to demand that our rights be upheld, that the voting is a fundamental right. For you to choose your political leader or for whoever it is, it's a fundamental right.
Are you still speaking?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Hannah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can I just ask you a quick question, please? Where are we moving forward to? You said we should keep moving forward. To where? Until you can answer this question, we cannot move forward.
Yes,
Africa needs to look back
Dr.
and
David
look at where they are coming from, who they are, in order to know where they are going.
Question. Dr. David said, does Africa need elections, given the mess in Nigeria's election, right?
We don't need election. We need referendum. Africans need to, create their own state, not what these Europeans impose on us.
Well, again, who says the Europeans impose elections and democracy on us?
Nigerians they do, because someone just told you now that whenever we are talking of restructuring, decentralization in Nigeria, in a multicultural country, all of these Europeans, they will not say a word because they know that is the gateway to our freedom. But when it is election time, they will be meddling in our election. So that is what we need to do. Africa needs to define their home boundary. We need to have our own state like they do here in Europe. I live in Europe. All of the country have their own boundary. Everyone speaks their own language. Look at Africa, bundled together like a sardine. Are we sardines? In Nigeria, we have over 20 ethnic groups, all of us in that country. Nobody wants to make it work. Nobody is working to make Nigeria great. Everyone is working against Nigeria. And you want us to move forward like that? It's never going to happen.
Your point. Let Alim finish. You have made your point. I'm going to bring you quickly up here. I think you have some interesting, good ideas like me. Alim my sister, what is the use of elections? Wasting 50 billion.
Well, this is why.
Dollars.
This is why.
Then up to now, Elima, wait. Up to
yes,
now,
sir.
the chairman of the Electoral Commission of Nigeria is not even saying the results are still in another computer. Wait, they are being for 8 hours. The results are still in a computer being done. What? What? Don't tell
the only people who want election in Nigeria are the people, or in Africa, are the people whose this status quo favored. It doesn't favor everyone. And that's what we need to do.
Wait, let Alima finish her point. So she's a woman, we don't want to harass her.
So, Mama, David, this is why men, all of you here, men, until we begin to see the power in leadership that women bring to the table, you will continue to have this problem. If you continue to oppress women, create violence where women cannot enter the political space and give this equilibrium to the way we think and operate, we will continuously see our men be emasculated, degraded, dehumanized, as we have seen in Nigeria, where we have the biggest democracy be riddled, be confiscated, corrupted. We will continue to see these programs, and we'll continue to see this degradation of our mindset. Because again, the way we are operating in Africa, the mindset we are operating in Africa is so masculine, is so misogynized that the view of women, I'm trying to put something forward here, we will not move forward if we keep going backwards. It's just a natural science. But yet, because we are so headstrong on keeping our standard as masculine, we will keep saying the same. So I'm going to leave it there for people to just think.
Don't leave it there. Before you go, I want to ask you one question.
Sure, go ahead.
What is the meaning of Nigerian elections?
You know, the Nigerian election, if we were to do an autopsy right now, it's sad. And I feel, as an African woman, I feel broken, because Nigeria for me is this country we all look up to in terms of what it has given the world. And to see a country so, in terms of beauty, in terms of growth, the power that Nigeria has, to be in this position, it breaks my heart. This is not where Nigeria ought to be. Nigeria has moved past this. We shouldn't be waiting 8 days or whatever days we're waiting for any result to come forward. I cannot understand what is going on in Nigeria. I'm confused right now. How can we have a democracy that has led so many systems around the world could be in this position? It's sad for all of us in Africa that we are faced with this dilemma. Perhaps we may not have the answers, but let us look inwards and ask ourselves deep-rooted questions. We've allowed politics, we've allowed division, we have allowed, there's so many things that has gone wrong in this election that it's I feel sorry for the next generation of our people, because we do not deserve this as Africans. Neither do Nigerians deserve this. And as Africans, we should stand together and support the Nigerians in this fight.
All of us in Africa, look at you people. A big population of 220 million. Very well-learned professors. In fact, in Nigeria...
Dr. Matanga, I'm unable to bring Radio Punchline up. If you could kindly maybe try and bring him up. Punchline Africa, try to get out of the space and then come back. I've been sending the mic to you. It's very important for you to have a speaker so you can continue your work, but I'm unable to bring you up. If Dr. Matanga, if you can do that for me, thank you.
At that.
Continue.
Alim, are you still there?
Can I say something, Dr. Matanga?
Hannah.
Yes, Daktari. Yes. I think Dr. Matanga cannot hear me. Legend, can you bring Punchline Africa up, please? He cannot hear me. Perhaps Legend, can you hear me?
Alimati.
The Legend. The legacy, can you hear me? Okay, I think the co-host and the host cannot hear me. Whoever was next can go on.
Yes.
Who was next?
I'm in a hurry, please. I will soon leave. So
Hold on. Let's do things audible. We are civilized here. People are raising their hands for a while now, and being civilized.
Okay, let's be grown-ups. Whoever knows was next, let them take the mic, and whoever else was next, let them take the mic until Dr. Matanga can hear who's speaking.
Thank you, Hannah. I just want to point out this. First, I will thank the host for creating a platform like this for us to come up here as Africans to speak on issue concerning us and bothering us also. You know, like Matanga asked, the title of the program says, does Africa need election, given the mess in Nigeria election? Now, as Africa, we don't need election. No, reason is that what Africa needs is rearrangement. Let's understand who are Africans first, because if you go to the history of Africa, you understand that 1884 to 1885 Berlin Conference, artificial boundaries were drawn in Africa, whereby people who are of no common value system become one, you know, not for any interest of the people, the native or the indigenous, but for the benefit of the Westerners. I make example of the Yorubas, the Odiduas. Today, you go to a place called Benin Republic. It's a different nation in a country in Africa. You have the Yorubas in Benin Republic. You come to Nigeria, you have the Yorubas also in Nigeria. You know, this kind of creation does not make Africa viable.